RotoGrinders, we're back. 5:37 on the East Coast, taking y'all straight up the lock tonight. Yes, there's a big day slate going on right now. We're in the midst of it. 10-gamer. There's a 4-game slate. Still some money to be made. You can chase whatever losses you had during the day. Double down, wisely. Do it wisely within your own means, obviously. But we have a 4-gamer, myself and Keith Eister. We're going to be talking about it. I was asking you about this early slate, and you're the smartest one of all of us, Keith. You just took the day off. You somehow knew that Max Scherzer would get ejected for, I don't know, some kind of phantom issue with what they were accusing him of using some kind of a foreign substance, but he was adamant. And I don't know if you saw the clip, but like when Max Scherzer's adamant about something, I'm very quick to yield. I believe him. I don't know. He's quick to anger, and he was very emotional, and he was denying whatever sort of shenanigans was going on. I heard somebody saying it was maybe possibly rosin was on his hand. I'm not really sure that rosin leaves like a residue of some sort, but Scherzer was ejected quickly today. We lost Trevor Rogers really quickly for the Marlins. Starlin Marte either got hurt or got ejected. Brian Reynolds got ejected. Our pets' heads are falling off. Somebody else, I think, left the game too, if I'm not mistaken. Just a lot of nonsense. Marte, Reynolds, Scherzer, Garrett Cooper, if you care about such players, left the game today for the Marlins. But you took the day off. You took the slate off. Not surprisingly, Madison Bumgarner got his face fully punched in. He was very angry about it, too. Don't swing on his 3-0 pitch. You're not allowed to. According to Madison Bumgarner, he gets very upset. We were watching that clip before the show. Wilson Contreras had the audacity to swing at the meatball that was thrown by Madison Bumgarner. But, what's up? You're out there on the West Coast. You don't want to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning for this 10-gamer, and you get to sleep in on a rare occasion, I suppose, because you're always pumping out content. Hope you enjoyed your sleeping in today.
I did. Yeah. Thank you. I didn't have any content to do for this slate, and it's super early in the morning for me. I opened it up and I'm like, Cardinals are going to be massive chalk. It's a 10-game slate. I don't want to try to find the right spot to get away from that. So I decided this was a good one to take off. I'll fire in a couple lineups on this little 4-gamer we've got here, but yeah, it seemed pretty clear the Cardinals were going to have a pretty nice day. They're awesome against lefties, and the Mad Bum is a true bum these days. No idea what that was about with the Wilson Contreras thing. I think it was the 3-0 count is what he was so upset about. But like, dude, like everyone knows you suck at this point. Like, just go out there and do your job every 5th day, collect your paycheck. Like, you're not winning a Cy Young or competing. Like even the Diamondbacks aren't competing this year. I don't think it's a complete long shot. So yeah, I don't know what he's so fired up about. It was pretty ridiculous.
I see people on Twitter saying like if he's not cut after this game, and it's like they're on the hook for $25 million this year and like $13 million next year. I don't know, man. Like, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to DFA him? Well, what? Just eat all that money? I know he's terrible, but like you said, Arizona going nowhere. Let's check the standings. I don't know where they're at. They might be doing okay for all I know.
Yeah, I mean, they have to pay him anyway. They might as well let him go out there and eat 4, 5, 6 innings every 5th day for now. I do think he'll eventually be cut later on in the season once they want to bring some guys up and get a look at him. But they're not going to run 4 or 5 rookies out in the rotation. Like, they need somebody to eat innings at this point, and they're already paying him. So it might as well be Madison Bumgarner that you let go get beat up every 5th day.
They are in first place. So if you want to make that argument, like obviously it's super early in the season, not even a month in. They're 11-8 in the West out there, National League West, which seems a little bit. It's the Dodgers have been underwhelming so far. The Padres have been underwhelming so far. Tatis coming back, I believe tomorrow, right? Who's just been banging out a ton of homers in AAA. I keep seeing highlights of him. He's got like video game numbers in the AAA these days. Coming back from his suspension, he should, I suppose, invigorate that Padres offense that's been sputtering. The Giants have been the worst offense in baseball, I think, right? They've been really, really bad. One of the worst. Right there with Washington, I'm sure. And then the Rockies they're just the Rockies. And yeah, it's been pretty rough. Betts did not come back today. He was supposed to or possibly come back today, according to Dave Roberts, maybe tomorrow. You hear they're possibly moving him to shortstop now with all their injuries. From outfield,
I did see that.
Second. now shortstop. Shout out to
you go from Corey Seager to Trey Turner to moving your right fielder into place shortstop. It's tough times there for the Dodgers. Lots of injuries building up. The West is definitely down, but the Padres are going to be for real. I think getting Tatis back is going to be a nice bump. the thing, like with going back to Bumgarner, Arizona is a fun young team. Like they have a lot of young guys coming up that are exciting. I live here in Phoenix, and like there's a bright future here. Like why are we messing around with this bum is kind of my take on it. But like I said, you have to pay him anyway. You might as well run him out there. But it would be nice if he'd just keep his mouth shut while he goes out there and is bad at his job.
If the team goes out bowling, you think Bumgarner goes with, or he stays home and just like, I'm good. Like if they have like a team event, a team building event, I feel like he's just kind of I have no idea. But peripherally, I feel like he's the kind of guy, he's an old vet, just kind of, and he's such a curmudgeon. He just kind of keeps to himself.
Curmudgeon's a good word for him.
Yeah, just so unlikable. He's not a Hall of Famer, right? I don't know if he's in the fringe. I've not looked at the stats. Obviously, he had 4 or 5 years in San Fran where he was spectacular. I think he had an MVP in the World Series, if I'm not mistaken. I hate these is he a Hall of Famer conversations, but I'm wondering if he's in the fringe.
He didn't have enough longevity to be a Hall of Famer. His peak was pretty good, like you said. He won a couple Cy Youngs, I think, or was at least in the conversation a couple times. But he had a 4 or 5 year peak is all probably, and he's went drastically downhill really fast since then.
He rode a horse on the field in San Francisco. I don't know if that increases or hurts his chances. Remember that? They came out on a horse, I think, when they won the World Series. I don't know why that image is in my head for some reason. What's up, chat? Thanks for joining us for this 4-gamer tonight. You have Dave Potts, and that's Cheeseisgood, of course, and Derek Carty, as well as Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist, taking you guys straight up the lock once we yield the crunch time in about 40 minutes or so. Get comfortable. We got plenty of time. It's a 4-gamer. Please be interactive. Join the show. Throw some names our way. Whatever sort of topics, whatever's in your mind. I see Red in chat saying props to me for accurately predicting Detroit's low-owned do not touch stack. I mean, I'm not taking any victory lap on saying do not play the Tigers. That's just, I mean, look, I cannot victory lap that one. As much as I'd love to victory lap something, but is there a lawn guy outside there, Keith? What's going on?
There is. Yeah, I was wondering. I was going to ask you if you could hear that. I can mute between. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Mr. Gerg says Mad Bum's postseason numbers are probably the best ever. Yeah, he was awesome in the postseason for a certain stretch. So I don't know. I don't like we said. I don't know if his baseball really cares about overall numbers, right? And compiling numbers. I don't think and also like the back end of his career has got to be hitting him pretty hard too, collectively, as far as his actual totals, like his career ERA and stuff like that people care about. All right. You know what we have? We have a 4-game slate tonight. We have every single lineup here, Keith. Every lineup is out. We're going to talk about every single lineup. We're going to talk about every starting pitcher because we have time to do so. As far as the team totals, the biggest team total on this board is the Yankees. Yankees do not have a 5 total. It's below 4.73. It's a 9 total on the other side. The Angels against Johnny Brito. Johnny Brito got fully just shellacked last time out. I believe that was the game against Minnesota, right? Where he gave a 9 spot in the first inning, I want to say.
Yep.
Just no offense that just feels like incredible. By default, Joe Ryan looks like the clear and obvious best pitcher on this slate, best stuff, however you want to say it. And he's also taken a step forward this year. Ryan, to me, it looks like 37% Ks, obviously small sample. It's a sample you have as far as this season. That's just spectacular. If you want to stretch it back to last year as far as K percentage, of course, it's up 37%, but it's still the best in the slate at 26%. Next would be Mackenzie Gore in a small sample, obviously uber prospect there from San Diego. Give me the screenshot here, Keith. Like we're putting the lipstick on the pig here, right? This is not a beautiful slate, but you can make money on it if you sort of figure it out. I want your screenshot as far as a slate, and then feel free to delve into the pitchers. And I'm having a hard time just like not playing Joe Ryan in every lineup.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited about exactly one thing on this entire slate, and it's Joe Ryan. Ownership is not putting him in a tier of his own. Maybe it's the price. I don't know, but I'm very happy to get way over the field on Joe Ryan and go underweight on guys like Corey Kluber, Luis Garcia, who has not been great and has a matchup against Toronto. Mackenzie Gore, who has a difficult time finding the strike zone. I think on 2-pitcher sites, you can pretty much do whatever you want at SP2, But the one pitcher that I'm very excited to play is Joe Ryan. You hinted at some changes. He was always very good against righties. He's got a solid fastball. His slider is very good against right-handers, but he has struggled with lefties. This year, he's never had a good changeup, and that's part of why he hasn't been able to limit lefties. This year, he's developed a splitter that he is using to left-handed batters, and we have seen the strikeout rate just absolutely go through the roof. Whenever I see changes like this, like in pitch mix in particular, like if a guy develops a new pitch and I'm seeing new stats, I'm going to jump on that as quickly as I can. If you look at projection systems, ownership is not giving Joe Ryan the credit for the pitcher that we have seen the first 3 starts of this season. He's got back-to-back games with 10 strikeouts. Boston has some low strikeout guys at the top of the lineup, but that bottom of the lineup, there is plenty of Ks there. I love Joe Ryan tonight. I hope that he comes in at this like 25 to 30% ownership number. That would be fantastic. I agree with you. Joe Ryan is my favorite pitcher by a mile. Other than
who's
that,
Emmanuel Valdez? I'm looking at the Boston lineup, pull up the plate IQ. Like you said, the first 6 guys are all contact guys. They're all in the green as far as Ks. Then you got Casas and Duran. Emmanuel Valdez, he has no stats. Is this like his MLB debut? Is this his first time facing a righty?
It is his MLB debut, and I believe he's a very significant prospect. I think he's top 100, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
I read when he got called up, the blurb said it should be a short stay. Like he's just going to come up and for a couple games. Like he's not here to stay, but very talented guy. For some reason, I pulled up the wrong Emmanuel Valdez on Fangraphs here, but I was trying to look into his prospect status a little bit.
I pulled up one, and it's got no team ranking, no overall ranking. It is a Boston Red Sox player, but
that's him then.
Maybe why would he not
be the right guy?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Yeah, maybe you're thinking of a different person as well. You know what I've noticed? Like, I think have they sort of like remember they used to keep guys down in the minors for time purposes and for control purposes? Is that kind of gone? Is that kind of away? Because I know coming into the season, and I know you follow this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure you do at least.
Yep.
Coming into the season, I think if you're on the opening day roster and you finish like first, second, or third in Rookie of the Year, I think you get like a conditional first round pick or something like that. Does that sound correct?
You have to be on, I think it's 2 of 3 different top 100 prospect lists. I believe it's Fangraphs, MLB Pipeline, and Baseball America. I don't quote me on those 3 lists, but you have to be on 2 of 3 top 100 prospect lists and finish top 3 in Rookie of the Year. And you get the player gets a full year of service time. So it doesn't matter if you came up in June, you're awarded a full year of service time, and your team gets a compensatory first round draft pick. It's after the first round, but yeah, I mean, so it's going to be like what, 33rd overall or whatever.
Yeah. 17th overall according to MLB prospects, by the way. And thanks for confirming. I heard somebody talking about it, maybe David Cohn or something like that. I heard somebody talking about it, which I think is good because it was always sort of silly that like, we can't bring this guy up. We got to wait a month and just let him toil down there because we want to control him for one more year. And I understood why the teams do it, but it's stupid that was an option. And it's kind of like tanking. Like I understand why you tank, but it probably shouldn't be. There's got to be a better solution, right? All right. So, okay. What is his, is he in the player pool? I haven't checked. I just saw this guy pop up and 50 power, 40 run, whatever it's worth. But he's 2K.
Yeah,
I don't know if he
not pretty. I think Nathan's saying that he's 17th on the Red Sox prospect list. So he's not a top 100. I misspoke on that.
Yes. So I should have been clear. That was Boston exclusively. So he's not a big time prospect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was 17th overall. That could have been a different conversation. Okay. So he was involved in the Christian Vasquez deal. Okay. So that means this is a revenge game for him, right? Well, no, it's just Vasquez. Vasquez is the other side. Wait, hold on. Traded to Boston from Houston. Okay, yeah, different team. Vasquez now is on Minnesota. All right, fair enough. We got that cleared up. Lots of time to discuss all sorts of things, Keith, here in this 4-gamer. I'm not making a ton of lineups, but the lineups I'm making, I just do not see how I get away from Joe Ryan, despite the fact this Boston lineup is pretty pesky, I guess, as pesky as they can get from a strikeout perspective. But he's just the best arm talent. SP2, I think. Feel free to jump in at any point. I think it's probably Bradish, maybe Gore, Jose Barrios, Luis Garcia, 2 pitchers that have been troublesome. Hey, Luis Garcia, right? This is the guy that had to change his approach, his delivery, right? Remember in the offseason, his little rocking the baby thing? Remember he used to rock the baby?
Yep.
And they called that a balk. They basically said he can't do that anymore. And I don't know if it's correlation, causation, or if it's just coincidence and small sample stuff, but he's not been good this year, right? Now, is that because they made him change his delivery? Is that small sample stuff? His ERA is 7.71. If you care about such things, you can say he's been unlucky. His SIERA is 4.74. Almost 2 homers per 9. Do you have a read on that? What's your thoughts as far as that? I mean, yeah, it has to mess with you in some way. Maybe you figure it out at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely disrupts your timing. Like, that's what it is, right? It's a timing mechanism. It's like starting pitcher's delivery in particular is so important. Like, being able to repeat that, like that affects your command. It affects your arm slot, which is like how your pitches are deceptive, I guess I would say. Like, you want all of your pitches coming out of the same arm slot. And if your timing is disrupted, which is throwing off your mechanics, it's a big problem. And I do think it's messing with Luis Garcia a little bit. I'm not concerned about that today, just because like he's 9,100 and he's got a matchup against Toronto. He's a fly ball pitcher.
Yeah.
And Toronto has a ton of power. Like, I don't want to pay for Luis Garcia. I mean, I don't mind it in tournaments, but it's not like he's 10% owned and we're taking a shot that he goes out there and has a ceiling game. This is a spot where he could easily give up 5 or 6 runs, a couple of homers, no problem.
Okay. So we have 8 pitchers. We have to roster 25% of them on DK. If we're concerned about Garcia, we like Joe Ryan. Maybe it's one of those things. It's not who you like. It's like who you dislike the least and who's last left standing. Shannon in chat saying Michael Kluber, the Klubot, Barrios or Canning. If you're running a bunch of lineups, I think you can play all those guys. Who do you feel best about or least worse about when it comes to our SB2s?
So I think you nailed it you can play anybody on this slate. Like all of these pitchers are in play. None of them are great options. My favorite, if I was just looking at the pitcher and the spot, disregarding ownership, would probably be Mackenzie Gore. I like Kyle Bradish. I'm not doing that. Like, there's just no upside there. I get Washington is a terrible offense. There's no power, but what's his upside? Like, they also don't strike out at all. They might be first overall in strikeout rate. The Washington offense.
Really?
I believe I'll confirm that here once I get through this. But I just don't see the upside for Bradish. He did throw 85 pitches in a rehab start, so maybe he's fully stretched out. But there's also a chance that he only has 80 pitches in the chamber tonight. Washington is a high contact, low strikeout team. He needs to go deep to hit a ceiling, and I just don't see any way that he's throwing 7 innings here. So if
17 point, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, 17.1%. This is against lefties and righties collectively this season. This lineup today, the plate IQ stuff, we're looking at 21% strike. This is stretched back to last year, bigger sample. But like Ruiz, the big contact guy, Abrams, he's shown like basically no power, but he's not striking out. You have a read on Abrams? Have you watched him? I know you watch a fair bit of baseball, and obviously Abrams wasn't that long ago. Top 5 prospect in baseball, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Early returns, I'm not ready to say no, it's not happening. And we look at Jared Kelnick. He's still pretty young, and obviously he's breaking out now several years after people expected him to be, a prime prospect. You have a general thought as far as C.J. Abrams, what you've seen?
Bright future, but he's up too early. He's still I think he's still only 22, despite I think he played almost a full season last year. But I want to say he's low 20s still, like 22, 23 at the most. He's just really raw. He's obviously got the bat speed and hand-eye coordination and things like that scouts look for and see big-time power projections and things like that in the future. He doesn't have a massive power projection, but he's got the speed and the hand-eye coordination, the bat speed to be a really good hitter one day. He's just not there yet. Like, you hear Carty talk about this all the time. Like, everyone is so excited to play these top prospects, but the reality of it is sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years. Kelnick, you just mentioned, is a great example. Like, Kelnick is looking like he's going to be a star now for the first time in 2 years after massively struggling for the Mariners. Like, it just takes time for them to adjust to major league pitching. Like it's obviously a grueling schedule. A lot of things going into that, like just coming up to that environment for the first time has to be an intimidating thing. Abrams just isn't quite ready yet, would be my take on it.
Yeah, I just thought just like watching the games, and also I think he played in the day too, but in Coors Field, and like this guy's a prize prospect, like you said, 22 years old, not 23 until October. But like they asked him, I assume they asked him, maybe he did it on his own, but dropping sacrifice bunts in Coors Field as a prize prospect is like, and also you're Washington, you're going nowhere. Let him swing away. Let him get a good swing in Coors. Maybe something good happens and he feels good about himself. I don't know, man. Just weird. I mean, anybody sacrificing bunting in Coors Field, you're off my list of like being a prize prospect. That's it. It's not his fault, but yeah, I just thought it was a weird thing as watching the games. Just whatever.
He has the tools. It's just going to take a little while, I think. But the bat speed and just the foot speed also, like he's a really fast guy too.
Yes.
Like he has the tools for sure. We'll see if he figures it out.
All right. See TJ hanging out in chat. I don't know how Spidey did earlier today. I think he had J-Rod as one of his Spidey bombs. Speaking of Seattle. Man, if Kelnick could be like legit good, that would help out Seattle lineups. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And they've got some really good young pitching too. I know Gilbert got blown up a little bit yesterday, but George Kirby, another guy, they've got a couple more coming also. Like, yeah, Seattle's got some great young talent.
Yeah, I mean, Castillo is like a pretty good, like he's not like 1-1 of like, aces, but he's a really, really solid arm as well. Looking at lineup HQ, is Ryan a bad play against the highest ownership? Like, I mean, I'm going to play. I'll tell you the weird thing. If you're playing on FanDuel, I ran some optimals on FanDuel. I know baseball optimals, LOL. He didn't land in any of them, which is I thought was really strange.
I love his
price. Yeah,
but
which is
it's because like we're dealing with mostly last year's data. Boston is a fairly low strikeout team, and he struggled with lefties last season. I'm of the opinion that he has his issues against left-handers fixed, and that's massive. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lefties in this Boston lineup. If I'm wrong and he doesn't have his issues fixed against lefties, then yeah, it's probably going to be a rough day for Ryan. And playing him at 30% ownership is not a good idea. But I think changing from a changeup that sucked to a splitter that, by all accounts, if you look at the Fangraphs grade, it is now his best pitch. It's a pitch he did not throw one time last year, and now it is his best pitch. Like that is a massive change in his pitch arsenal.
Also, Fenway Park, it's just, it's better to hit at, from the right side, distinctly better to hit from the right side as opposed to the left side in Fenway. Like down pesky pole is like 300 feet or whatever it is, but it gets deep really fast once you start getting in fair territory down the right field line. So when you're evaluating players and looking at like, oh, wow, this guy stinks this year, this guy's, in 3-4 starts in, how quick are you to adjust, right? And I think part of it is like, did the guy actively make an adjustment, or are they doing the same exact thing and they're getting lucky or unlucky in a small sample? Is that sort of the way you're looking at it? Because I still like to look at last year's data. I like to combine it with this year's data. And if like one is distinctly different, then you start fishing and saying, oh, well, did something change? Was he just lucky? Is that sort of your approach as well?
Yeah, I mean, you have to do a little bit of a deep dive. When I dove into Joe Ryan today, I noticed the pitch mix change. Like he's no longer throwing the changeup that got beat up. Even against lefties, he's now throwing a splitter, and he's throwing it a ton, and it's been really, really effective. If I see an active change like that, 3 starts is enough for me. I'm willing to bet that Joe Ryan is a new guy. If it doesn't prove to work out, then so be it. But I want to be early on stuff like that. Chris Bassett yesterday, everybody's like, oh, he's terrible. He's going to get his face punched in. If you looked at his second start to his third start, he had a full mile-an-hour gain in his fastball velocity. He was clearly coming back to the guy that he was last year. So there's tons of different variables you can look at. But if you notice something like that, I played a fair amount of Chris Bassett last night for that reason. And he did okay. He wasn't great or anything, but he didn't get his face punched in like everybody thought he was going to. So all kinds of things. But yeah, definitely doing deep dives on things like that. Anything that you can see, if like it may not be true, but if there's a chance that it's true, I'm going to play it. I'm looking for any small edge I can find.
So people coming back for the 4-gamer, we appreciate y'all watching. Again, do hit that like button, do subscribe, do turn on those notifications. Want to reward you. Want to give you a chance to win a week free of RotoGrinders Premium, and not just baseball, it's all the sports. Everything you can think of, the lineup HQ tool, the play IQ tool. You get Dave Potts' article, you get the consensus rankings, all the good stuff, the survey. I can't, too much time to list it all off. MMA, PGA, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. How would you go about getting yourself 1 week free of RG Premium? Go to the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go into the live stream chat channel. And I believe you just have to hit the thumb. Producer Steve has dropped it in there. He'll put your screen name up on the wheel. We're going to spin the wheel. In about 15 minutes, the winner gets himself 1 week free RotoGrinders Premium. I'll drop the link in chat for the Discord. I think it'll work. And you don't need we have premium Discord channels. We have non-premium Discord channels. Of course, that will be a non-premium channel. It will be silly to put this contest in the premium channel. That will be cruel. That will be mean. I see a lot of thumbs up already, but if you're curious how to get there, here is a shortcut in chat. This should work for you. Just need a regular RotoGrinders account. Doesn't have to be a paid account, any account. We got Matt Olson at the plate. 1-0 tonight at top of the 8th. We can min cash if we get a Matt Olson base hit, I think. We'll see. And that's always a fun spot to be in, right, Keith? Like begging the min cash. Let's min cash. Hey, all right. That was the pivot away from I believe it was a pivot away from Goldie, who got a quick hook today. Despite his BBP, he was not the best player against Mad Bum. So give me a summary as far as pitchers. How many lineups are you making? Are you making your usual 20 or no?
I'm just doing 3 lineups. It's a 4-game slate. Contests aren't great for this smaller slate. The main slate was earlier in the day, so just doing 3 lineups for this one tonight. The guy we didn't talk about that I don't know. There's still some stuff to talk about at pitching because you can play all these guys. Like Kluber's not a guy I like to play because he just doesn't strike out enough guys. But on this slate, I'm playing guys like Corey Kluber and Jose Barrios. Like usually I'm attacking Jose Barrios, and I am still doing that on this slate. One of my teams is a Houston stack right now, just because Alvarez and Tucker are in such phenomenal spots. I could easily see a path to Houston putting up a bunch of runs. But Barrios, like if we're just looking at pure talent from these pitchers, he's got to be in the conversation. At least once upon a time he was. Mm-hmm. I think you can take shots on him. I hate trying to pick on Houston, but like just anyone is viable at SP2. I mentioned Gore. He'd be if you want the chalk answer, I would play Gore over Bradish. If you don't have that money, I'm going down to Griffin Canning on 2 of my teams. It's not a fun matchup against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, but he's a guy that has some strikeout ability. The Yankees strike out a fair amount. You save the $500. It pretty much allows you to play all the bats. Like even paying up for Ryan, you can get 3-4 solid 5K bats in there. So I think Canning is my favorite, just ownership considered. Like I don't love the 30% ownership number on Gore. I hate it on Bradish. I'm going to pivot down to Canning for the majority of my lineups. But just go ahead. You have a question before I was just going to give you the final summary.
What ownership would you say you have for Gore? Because I currently have the bat ownership projections up. I can jump to the RG stuff, and generally it's it's pretty close. Obviously 2 different ways to get there, but Gore I have on DK as far as pitchers at 47% according to the bat. Ryan at 34, Bradish 33, Garcia 22, Kluber at 19, Barrios 14. Did you say? I thought I heard a lower number for some reason. Did they basically line up?
On DK, this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gore at 31, essentially. I haven't refreshed in a while. Let me do a refresh, too.
I'll take over 31. I'm not sure if it's getting to 48, but I think it's going over 31. How about that? We're going to middle it?
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
Are people really playing that much Kyle Bradish? I don't understand that one. Maybe it's just the matchup. Like, I get it. Washington's not good, but I need strikeouts. Bradish isn't a huge strikeout guy, and Washington just doesn't strike out.
It's survival, though, right? But I hear what you're saying. I mean, if
it's
Bradish
not
gave
for me.
You...
That's what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's ceiling for me.
Yeah.
I don't care if Griffin Canning goes out there and gets his face punched in. What happens? I lose. Oh well. But I don't think that Bradish gives me a chance to win a tournament, so I'm just not playing him.
No, I don't disagree with that thought process, and I think Gore's got a higher ceiling anyway. I don't really like picking on Baltimore, but if I am, I prefer picking on him with a lefty. They bury Cedric Mullins in this lineup. I know James McCann once upon a time people considered me a lefty master, but it's kind of sort of just a joke now at this point. Gunnar Henderson is scuffling, right? Like he's not been good left on left here, batting in the 7th spot, and Gore actually has like a legit arsenal of pitches. You don't really know what you're going to get out of it, but I do prefer Gore over him as well. And there's the rest of it is just a mishmash. I saw somebody asking about Johnny Brito in chat. He was kind of fraudulent, I think, in his first successful start. Obviously, he's not going to give up 9 runs again in the first inning. Talk about a mush play. But and you can play him. I'm not excited about Burrito. And the Klubot, it feels like Boston's got all these these broken down pitchers that if you caught the rotation 7 years ago with Chris Sale, granted he was great last time out, but James Paxton is on this team, right? I'm sure I'm missing somebody else on Boston that used to be really good, I think.
Pavetta was never really good, but he had some success. What else do they have? Yeah.
They have just a mishmash of guys that they look great as names, and you start looking at how they've been of late. Yeah.
Yeah.
But who's your least favorite pitcher on this slate? Is there a clear least favorite pitcher? Is it Bradish?
I mean, if I'm considering ownership, I think the answer is Bradish. I also don't see a need. I probably am not paying up for Ryan and Garcia, so I would need to play 150 lineups to even consider Garcia. I think if I was playing my normal 20, 25, 30 lineups, I don't think I would have Garcia or Bradish for that matter. I'm playing Ryan every time over Garcia. I don't like the ownership or the upside for Bradish. So those would be my two I'd be significantly underweight on, even if I was making more lineups.
Peter said he had burrito for lunch today. How was that, Peter? That work out for you? TJ wants to know if he's stupid for having 70% each of Gore and Ryan. I don't think that we think that's enough Ryan. I don't know if we think that's enough Ryan. Maybe. I'd have more, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that it's too high on either guy. Gore, I don't love the ownership number on Gore, but I do love the strikeout upside. Baltimore's a solid offense, but there's some strikeouts there. It's just the control is concerning, and I don't want to play him at 30%, but it's a 4-game slate. We don't have much of a choice. So I totally understand going overweight on Gore. And Ryan I'd be fine with literally 100% Ryan.
You're not running 20 lineups or 100 lineups, but even the lineups you're making by hand. Are you open to playing one of your hitters against one of your pitchers? I think this is the slate where you very well could be. I don't want to say you should be, but I'm absolutely open to it.
When I got through with my research, I'm I know Dean is going to ask me if I'm playing a hitter against my pitcher on this slate.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't do it. I feel like I can find a pivot where I don't have to do it, but I totally understand it. I agree. It's viable on the slate. Yes.
Almost all these pitchers are out by the 5th or 6th inning. 2 more bats against other dudes. Even if nobody's gonna have a clean sheet, right? Who's gonna drop the clean sheets? Whatever. I get both sides of it, and the slate is so small, and I know people run away from it, and I understand how theoretically I guess it hurts your ceiling. Sure, whatever, but I also just don't. You can't be perfect. It's really, really hard to be perfect. Me and Blender were talking about that earlier today. Having the actual nuts in baseball and a 10-game slate, it's outrageous. That's like winning the lotto. Yeah. And it's, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 sometimes, right? As far as a stack. If you're going to hand pick it, it's just basically impossible. Let's pivot to stacks.
I bet the odds to pick the 9 highest scoring hitters, if it's not a stack, obviously some slates there's a team that goes off and you get 4 hitters from the same team that are actually the true 4 top hitters on the slate. I bet you, I don't even know what the odds are, but it's astronomical to try to pick 9 one-offs or 8 one-offs that are the 8 highest scoring hitters on the slate. It's nearly impossible.
It's hard to do it for one position. Good luck. Try to pick the 3 top outfielders. Good luck with that.
Yep.
It's really, really, really hard to do. Even if you MMA, if you have a wife, if you're +1, whatever you're doing, I don't like your chances of making it work. Stack wise, is there a clear and obvious stack for you? I don't really have a clear and obvious, this is the best stack, and that's that.
Yeah, I said there's one thing I'm excited about on the slate. It's Joe Ryan. That includes all of these offenses. I don't like any of the other pitchers either, but I don't like any of the offenses necessarily either. No, there's nothing I'm excited about. I would say, just having to throw something out there. I'm excited about Houston lefties. I'm excited about that's about I'm playing Canning, but I will think you could absolutely stack New York against him.
By the way, when you say Houston lefties, there's 2 Houston lefties. It's Jordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. Essentially,
those guys are pretty good. They're pretty good.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I'm playing Washington for one of my stacks. I don't know if it's a
Oh.
full 5-man yet, but I'm playing Washington against Bradish. I don't think he's that good, and if he's going to be owned, I'm happy to pick on him. I'm playing Mackenzie Gore also, but I think you can stack Baltimore. He certainly has control issues. This Washington bullpen is atrocious. If Gore is walking a bunch of people and runs the pitch count up there, I'm happy to get 5 innings against a Washington bullpen. Like you can,
what does a Washington stack look like? Build it for me, like build that. Just throw the names at me. Like what does it sound like? What does it look like?
Well,
is it 5-man? Is it 4-man? Is it a mini stack?
That's my problem. Is I'm struggling to get to 5. It's probably a 3-man. I may even consider doing a 4-4, which is something I don't generally do. But I'm not playing my typical contest tonight either. Like usually I'm in the lottos and I'm trying to get a massive score to get first place and first place only. I'm not quite playing that way tonight. So I'm considering doing like a 4-3-1 or even a 4-4. I think Hebert Ruiz at catcher is a no-brainer. Like not a ton of power, but he should make some contact. He fills a really weak position. There's a couple of cheap outfielders. Call is leading off. Stone Garrett's been hitting everything in sight. I don't know what that's all about. I don't really expect it to continue on a 4-game slate. I'm fine with taking a shot on it.
Former Diamondback. You watched them up close, right?
I did not, but he was here for some time. Like it's not an exciting thing, but none of these offenses are.
No. Meneses has some power. He hasn't really shown it. He showed it in the WBC. And last year, like when he came out of nowhere, it was like a 30-year-old rookie, right? Which generally is not a good sign. Just as a general rule. Just, this guy at 30 years old out of nowhere is starting to hit home runs. Interesting. What's his name? The guy for Philadelphia did the same thing. The dude that broke his thumb or something like that. Hoskins replacement?
Derek Hall.
Yeah, he's also like a 30-year-old rookie, and unfortunately, he's going to be gone for a while as well. Dom Smith has been horrific, as far as power. Once upon a time, that guy had power, right? Am I making this up?
I mean, he was a power prospect. I think he hit 20 homers for the Mets one time, a season or something. But I don't think he's ever hit more than that. He's never capitalized on his power potential, I would say.
Aaron Judge is on the slate. He hits home runs, right?
Yes. Like I said, I'm playing Canning personally. I definitely get anybody that wants to stack against it. Like Aaron Judge is awesome. There's some cheap pieces for the Yankees. It's not very hard to make a Yankee stack. Like Volpe leading off. Cabrera is a very cheap option in the outfield. Rizzo is a little bit too cheap for me. I think this is a great spot for Rizzo. So I do like the Yankee stack. I'm on the Canning side just because I think he's the best pitching option. If I was going to play a pitcher against a hitter, I like Aaron Judge against Griffin Canning. Is
it a little weird that Frenchie Grandero is batting 9th? I feel like he's better than Trevino and maybe Calhoun as well, probably. I don't he's been hitting the ball pretty hard. It just seems strange he's batting 9th tonight. That just seems kind of odd to me. But just some ugly names there. Obviously, no Stanton there. Anybody else missing in this lineup that's of note? Higashioka's not, they have Trevino in there, but basically neither one of those catchers are terribly exciting.
Donaldson was rumored to be getting close, but doesn't look like he made it.
Yeah, and even Donaldson's not really Donaldson anymore.
Right.
Who's back tonight is Joey Gallo. Get excited about that. Joey Gallo's back. He's no longer super cheap though. I mean, he's not expensive, but he's 3.2 on FanDuel, 3.9 on DK. I don't know how much salary actually matters. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that looks kind of goofy in these lineups. I'm staring at him. So I feel like there was somebody else I meant to mention. Who is Nathan Lukes? There you go. That's a name. Nathan Lukes is a person who will be wearing a baseball uniform tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. Can you tell me about Nathan Lukes?
He's another older prospect. I believe he's late 20s. He is not a prospect, really, hardly at all. We've got Steve on here. You're getting some slander in the chat for your lack of checking your video feed.
Oh, well, I'm trying to multitask. I apologize. I saw your Cubbies are up big now, 10-2 on the A's. I hope you're excited. This is the year for the Cubs, right? Or maybe it's not.
It's not the year, but I wrote it up. We did a survey for futures bets this season, and I said it was a homer pick, but really it wasn't. I actually bet it. They were at 73.5 wins or something like that. Steve's like, let me get this in. I think the Cubs are better than the public gives them credit for.
All right, Steve, it's your time to shine. We're spinning the wheel. If you guys are just joining now, like, what's going on? Why is there a wheel on the screen? You missed it. We're giving away a week free of RG Premium. All you do is hit the thumb in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The live stream
put it on the
channel.
screen a bunch of times for everyone to see.
Well, you know.
So if you missed it, I'm sorry.
What do they say about snoozing and losing? We'll run it again. We always run this like at least once or twice a week. We'll run it back for sure.
We'll try and get another one going on Friday.
Yeah, maybe Friday. We'll make it work. Sure, why not? Steve, let's give this the wheel a spin.
All right, here we go.
Keith, who are you rooting for? You rooting for somebody? Keith, I got yellow. What color you got?
Blue.
Oh, look at you! It was rigged. This is rigged.
Oh, it's red.
What? It's red. It's red. We both lose. Oh,
Congrats.
Jesus. There you go.
Squared.
Double M squared. I'm not sure. Is producer Devin lurking in the chat or Steve?
I'll message you in Discord and we'll help get it set up.
Apparently, they said the link was not working in chat. Well, you didn't have to use that direct link for what it's worth. You could have just gone to Discord, RotoGrinders.com. There's other ways to get there. I thought I was giving you a clean route, and I apologize. That was not my intent. But next time, sorry. We'll refund the $0 it cost to play that contest. So we have crunch time coming about 10 minutes or so. Do you want to play the stack game? We can play the stack game.
It. First, TJ says that he has 90% Ryan now, and that if he sucks, I have to PayPal him $100. Dean was on this take with me, so I think at worst case we have to split that, Dean.
Is that in the loonies and toonies, or is that in American dollars? Because that makes a big difference to my pocket. Yeah, because I can have all my loonies and toonies; those are worthless. But yeah, like what if he stinks? What the 10% of your lineups are going to win? So how about that? We're doing you a favor.
There you go. TJ understands he makes his own decisions. He's being facetious. I'm pretty sure of it.
He's an adult, right? Far as I know, he makes his own choices. So yeah. Well, blame it on Spidey. Does Spidey not care for pitchers? Why does he only focuses on guys that can hit home runs? He has none as far as pitchers. Like this is the guy that's going to.
Everyone always wants home run calls. How about the pitcher that's going to lead the slate in strikeouts or something like that? Like that's just as useful, right?
Who's that going to be, and how many? What's the number of strikeouts on this slate?
Joe Ryan is getting 9 tonight. That's going to lead the slate.
Who's getting the second most?
That's a tougher question.
Yeah, the second most is like 5. Maybe somebody has 5 strikeouts.
Canning's getting at least 5, so I'm just making sure Garcia's going to get his amount. So it's between Gore, Canning, and Berrios for me. Berrios has Houston, so I'm going Canning or Gore. I'm going to go out on a limb. I like the matchup for Canning. I'm going to say Canning with 7 strikeouts.
Ooh. I'm checking. Carty's going to be on in 5 minutes. I'm checking what the bat has to say. Do support Derek Carty.
The bat does not like Joe Ryan today, just for the record. But like I said, this is where we find our edges. Like when projection systems are taking longer sets of data and we can find something that's changed and play that off of the projections, that's how you win tournaments.
It really does not like Joe Ryan. Oh, wow. That is interesting. Can you want to start a fight with Carty when he comes on? Can we do that? That'll be fun. A fun conversation.
Yeah, I'm happy to have that conversation with Carty. I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to say. And that's that the pitch mix has changed and he very much could be a different pitcher, but he's still not. He needs a longer sample to be able to put out a projection. And I don't disagree with how the projections work. Just that's the edge that you have as somebody using projections. You have to know when you can pivot off of those. Joe Ryan tonight is a perfect example.
Two first names. When has that ever steered you wrong? Okay, we're gonna name the stack. You put a 5 on it. 5 means it's your absolute favorite. You love the stack. 1 means you absolutely hate it. 3, you're kind of wishy-washy or neutral. It's somewhere in the middle. There's a multitude of reasons why it's a 3. You're the stack of Baltimore against Mackenzie Gore. It is a leverage stack. Mackenzie Gore is going to be very popular.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all because Mackenzie Gore does have control issues. The walk rate has been astronomical this season, and even in his minor league career, he's walked a ton of guys. So I do like the Baltimore stack, despite Gore being my second highest owned tonight. I'll give it a 3.5 if I can do that.
Yeah, I like the decimal points. I appreciate that. Yeah, round numbers aren't.
It's almost a 4, but probably 3.5.
The other side, I think I know where you're going with this. The Washington stack. All things considered, right? You're considering ownership. You're considering all the stuff, all the goods. Everything's baked into the number. So you're not necessarily endorsing Washington as like a good offense. You get all this stuff. You get it. You understand how slates work and baseball works. The number on the Nationals, 1 through 5.
Yeah, it's 2.5. Like, it's just not a talented enough offense for him to be like, I'm not slamming the table saying playing the offense. I'm saying, yeah, you can get a little bit of leverage against a chalky pitcher who's not very good. I don't hate it today.
You've definitely talked me off a little bit of Bradish, and I think you made a reasonable argument there. And I'm not sure if I'm playing Washington guys, maybe a pinch, but I pushed off Bradish a little bit. So, yeah. All right, Angels versus Brito.
I love Trout and Ohtani, but the Angels are tough to stack. Like Ward is expensive. Renfroe is expensive. I love Ohtani Trout one-offs more than I like the stack. For the stack, it's a 2 for me.
I see Kirkwood in chat asking about if John Morant is going to play tonight. He's got his hand. I'm not sure if you did any basketball content, if you're playing basketball tonight. Yeah, we don't know about Giannis. Giannis got upgraded to questionable, and Milwaukee played games all season long with that injury report. I know Giannis legit got hurt with his back. I'm really curious if that's going to go down. Morant looked pretty serious as far as of his hand as well. Do you have? I don't know. Have you thought about that? Is this something you're in your wheelhouse in any way today as far as basketball? Any takes?
I have not looked at the slate today at all. Just from news that I've seen coming across the Twitter feed, I think Giannis has a decent chance to play. Actually, I would say Ja is closer to doubtful, but that's. I'm not as tuned into NBA as I usually am.
Did you see the Draymond Green play with Sabonis?
Yes.
Your takeaway?
I mean, his excuse is completely ridiculous. He is a dirty player, but it is what it is. I don't disagree with the suspension at all.
I kind of disagree with it. I think he had an in-game suspension, basically. That was enough. I think that was enough. But, I mean, Draymond's never going to get the benefit of the doubt at this point because of his reputation, fair or unfair. That's just the way it is. And Sabonis did grab at his leg. He started it, if you want to say that, right? And then Draymond took it, he hold my beer. He took it to a 10 pretty quickly, stomped on him, which, any sort of like conspiracy theorist, like the NBA wants Golden State at least to play the 7 games here versus Sacramento. It's a lot of fun. So I would think the NBA would want Draymond to play and want Golden State to move on. So kind of interesting, but great drama. If nothing else, it's spectacular drama. And now everybody wants to see whenever the next time. I mean, hopefully it's 2-1, right, for a better series. I don't know how much you're watching of it, but it's been spectacular this series so far. And as expected, Sacramento and Golden State, 2 fun teams to watch. Yankees, as far as a stack, 1 through 5.
They're going to have a higher rating than I'm actually playing them. They're probably one of the top stacks on the slate. I'd give them a 4. I don't have any tonight. That's just because I'm playing Canning against them, hoping for some strikeouts. But yeah, I'll go 4.
Minnesota, we have Joey Gallo back. Kepler leading off. Kepler, Correa, Buxton, Larnick, Julien, the rookie, Miranda, Gallo, Jeffers, and Michael A. Taylor. He's the kind of guy that's going to ruin the slate. Michael A. Taylor, it's like a 3-run homer, and that's the guy you have to have. There you go. He's going to take it over the monster. The Twins.
So I like the ballpark upgrade. I don't like picking on Kluber necessarily. Just a solid veteran pitcher. Better real-life pitcher than he is DFS pitcher. I'll go 3 just because of the slate and the ballpark. But yeah, I don't like picking on Kluber.
All right, crunch time crew's coming in just a second. Let's just knock out these last couple because the people, they're sitting on pins and needles as far as they want the ranking. They're 1 through 5 on Boston, Toronto, and Houston. 5, you love it. 1, you hate it. 3, you're somewhere in the middle. Go with Boston first.
Boston is a 0. I don't think I need to try to attack the best pitcher on the slate. Who are the other two? Sorry.
Toronto and Houston.
Yeah, Houston is. I love the lefties. The overall stack is a 4 for me. And Toronto, again, love the power bats. Tough to stack because of the pricing. I'll go 3.5 on the stack.
Dave Potts, Kevin Roth, Derek Carty. Carty, we were talking about the bat. Keith and myself, both of us, are big fans of Joe Ryan today. If for any other reason, by default, he's just like, we think he's the best pitcher on the slate. The bat does not seem to love him. And myself and Keith were discussing that. The whys of that. Do you want to explain? We're assuming it's because of the change of the pitch mix. But, what's your thoughts as far as Joe Ryan? I guess you're going to give him in a second. But, yeah, we were curious. We wanted to highlight your take on Ryan and why he's kind of getting a lukewarm projection. Is that a fair way of saying it?
I mean, that's maybe even the nice way of saying it. He projects for, 13 and a half points. So he's clearly the most talented pitcher on the slate. Joe Ryan is a very, very, very good pitcher. The problem is that this matchup is not good.
6 lefties in the best ballpark for hitting on the slate.
There you go. Like that's kind of what it comes down to. So as much as I like Ryan in general, it's a lot of opposite-handed hitters. It's Fenway Park, and that's kind of it, And he's a great pitcher, but he's not like a big strikeout guy where, he can make up for giving up a few runs by, striking out 9 batters. Like he's not going to do that often. So
here's my follow-up question. Are we sure he's not a big strikeout pitcher? He has changed.
Thank you, Keith, for asking the actual question.
So he has ditched his changeup, and he's now throwing a splitter up over 20% of the time, and it has been like his best pitch. Like
so that is one thing the bat is not accounting for yet is pitch mix changes, and hopefully it will be doing that soon. I've been working with a machine learning company to help me build all models for accounting for stuff and that sort of thing. So at some point that will be ready. But yeah, that kind of thing can be a little bit of a blind spot for the bat at the moment.
Machine learning, does that mean robots?
Robots, yes. I have a team of robots working, pounding away at computers, coding this out for me.
Perfect. That sounds.
Chat GPS is free, Carty, if you want to save some money. And we learned earlier today that it's very, it's legitimate and it's accurate. We were running down all our bios earlier today, Keith. You missed it, but it was way off. Not even close. I'm pretty much all of us.
I caught the show earlier. I heard that you are my new boss.
I noticed you were kinder to me today than you normally are, but yeah, I apparently, according to GTP, I am the COO of Roto. It's not true. It's not true.
What does ChatGPT say about me?
Did we pull it up for Carty? I don't think we did.
He wasn't up. He wasn't in yet.
Do it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Blender was the guy. He has the code. He's got the login. But we'll do it at some point. We'll fire it up for sure. But rest assured, it's probably not going to be accurate. But the good stuff you just confirm, and the bad stuff you say, not me. That's the other Derek Carty. Did you know there's another Kevin Roth who apparently is a more famous Kevin Roth? That's I was going to say weatherman. That's Roth. I would never insult you by calling you just a weatherman. No, I'm trying to think of
meteorologist is the word you're going for. Meteorologist. Yes. I am the second most famous Kevin Roth meteorologist in the world.
That's still pretty good. Second best.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I feel like I should be first. What can you do?
Well, there's still time. The momentum is swinging in your direction for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith, anything else as far as any more questions for Carty, for the bat, for Potts, for Roth? Are we good to go?
I think we're good to go. Let's get out of the way.
Let's get out of the way. Crunch time starting momentarily. We do want to hit that like button. We do want to subscribe. We do want to turn those notifications. Do all the things. Hit all the buttons there in chat. Roth, you got 30 minutes to kill until first pitch. Actually, you want to get all technical. 34 pitches. Have at it. It's the start of the Fanduel sponsor Crunch time. Roth, take it away.
34 pitches? What is this guy talking about? Get out of here, Dino. Hey, welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed Crunch Time. It is sponsored by FanDuel, and it is a show where we are joined by two of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, we got Mr. Dave Potts looking sharp, the RotoGrinders collar tee. I went casual RG.
Looking good.
You went classy RG. What's up, Cheese? Good to see you again, sir.
Yeah. Hey, you too. It's been a while. So here I have something to kick off the show with some excitement. So you'll remember, Kevin, we were talking about earlier how I was asking, is Madison Bumgarner like the worst pitcher in the league, period? And Carty said he's the third worst. And of course, he got shelled. The Cardinals did what they were supposed
crushed.
to do. Do you recall the names of the two guys who he said were worse?
No, of course not.
You're not supposed. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
well,
no, of course
the Oakland A's watch Crunch Time, like their front office. I don't know if you know that. They actually do.
Makes sense.
And they heard it and they were like, wait, what? There's no way we have a guy worse than Madison Bumgarner. Let's prove this jabroni wrong. So they sent Adam Aller out today, who gave up a home run to Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer. I saw a home run Hosmer. Like, I got to see who did this. And it was Adam Aller. And they were like, okay, we do have a guy worse than Madison Bumgarner. It happened. That was just glorious timing.
Well, I'm curious, since both guys went out, like at the end of the day, is there going to be a new worse? Like, who did worse out of the two?
Well, see, but Justin Dunn is actually worse than both of them, and there's no way anyone's going to let him pitch. So
he holds the crown.
Aller only got a couple innings, but giving up a home run to Eric Hosmer, to me, that's got to push you down.
All right.
I'm so upset that no one is giving Justin Dunn a chance to pitch because especially in this new environment where stolen bases are like crazy, everyone knows that like Noah Syndergaard gives up a lot of stolen bases. Justin Dunn is worse than Noah Syndergaard, and he's the worst pitcher in baseball. So guys get on base against
the worst home run pitcher and stolen base pitcher. It's so glorious.
Not a good combo. Yeah, not a good combo.
Adam Aller is in fact confirmed still worse than Bumgarner.
Okay.
Despite
even
what
after
Bumgarner tried to do.
Yeah. All right. It's a race to the bottom. We got Derek Carty as well coming in. Carty, known for the sticky stuff on his fingers. That's a thing that happened today. We got Schurz with the sticky stuff.
I missed it actually today. I kind of took a little break in the afternoon, kind of tuned out a little bit. So I saw something happen with Scherzer. It was sticky stuff.
Yeah, he got thrown out. I think it was after the third inning for sticky stuff.
Wow.
People were saying it was just the rosin, but I figured if anybody knows about the sticky stuff, it would be you. I guess you missed this entirely.
Yeah, I mean, sticky stuff MLB made a big deal about, 2 years ago. And, they made the whole dog and pony show with it. And, now it's gone. But it wasn't really gone because spin rates went down right away, but then they started to creep back up. People were paying attention and MLB was like, all right, whatever. But then this year they're like, all right, we got to crack down again. So this is probably them making an example of somebody, which is weird because the other day, Domingo Germán. What? I don't even know.
Let's kick Scherzer out for 10 days, but we got to make sure Germán can pitch again.
Yeah.
What did I miss with Germán? We've got a little bit of time.
He had sticky stuff and just had to go wash his hands.
Yeah, he got caught with the sticky stuff too.
The manager who called him out on it.
Because he plays for the Yankees.
Right. Yeah.
The opposing manager, though, got ejected for being too upset about him using sticky stuff.
Well, I mean, if you catch him doing it and they're like, it's fine, just go wash your hands. That seems not okay. That seems not great. All right. Thank you for catching me up on the drama there. Let's kind of get into this slate a little bit, guys. We should note, I mentioned this show is sponsored by FanDuel. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. New customers bet 5 bones. That's what the kids are calling dollars these days. Get $150 back in bonus bets. Terms and conditions do apply.
I'm not a kid anymore, but I am almost certain kids do not call them bones.
I think you're right. Yes. I think that's what they were calling them 10 years ago. I don't know what they call them these days.
Those kids are 30 years old now.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's dive into the slate. Cheese, tell me what we've got happening.
I mean, not a lot. It's 4 games. Really, the only, I think, difference that I have with the bat is the Joe Ryan thing that they talked about off the top.
So I'm looking at Joe Ryan's. Well, no, you give your Joe Ryan take first.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just fully believe that he's improved. He was already the best pitcher on this slate. And I firmly buy into his improvement this year. Not that he's a 37% strikeout guy, but that he is he's in a whole other stratosphere than Gore and Bradich. It's not like they're kind of similar.
Oh, yeah.
And so to me, he's just so much better that the matchup is not going to overcome that for me. And we have the salary. If we were really pinching pennies, I'd be fine with saying, okay, let's play Gore and Bradish. there is actual upside with Ryan that like Bradish in his first game off the IL doesn't actually have upside. And then Gore, I wish he wouldn't walk every batter he faces like that. To me, that kills his upside with the way he kind of burns through his pitches too early. So I'm just totally in on Ryan tonight, while fully admitting like the matchup, he's still not amazing against lefties. Like I don't love the matchup by any means, but he's like the only guy on this slate who's actually good. And that's enough for me.
Okay. And that's on FanDuel?
That's on DK. On FanDuel, Ryan's 11K. And I don't think he's as necessary. I think he's a better DK play than a FanDuel play.
Do you think Ryan is straight up, like price is not a thing, anything? Do you have him as like the best pitcher on the slate? Or is it more, yeah?
Yes.
So the bat is like in full disagreement with Cheese. The bat has Ryan 5 points behind Mackenzie Gore.
So the Gore one is weird, like Gore being so far out in front. Although Baltimore is weirdly worse than it seems like they should be against lefties. I mean, that matchup is way better than Ryan's matchup. Even though at first glance, you wouldn't really think it would be. I so distrust Gore with that wonky control. So that's why I just can't get on board with that big of a difference.
Yeah. So, I mean, we feel similarly about all these pitchers. It's just that the way the bat is processing everything, it comes to a different conclusion. Like Ryan is the best pitcher on the slate talent-wise by a lot. But Gore is not a bad pitcher. Gore is an above average pitcher, and his matchup is significantly better. Like Ryan's facing a very, very low strikeout offense. Gore is facing, I think it's the most strikeout heavy offense on the slate. Second most, maybe. Yeah, second most. So there's a big difference there. Gore is in a much better park for pitching. Ryan is in the toughest park for pitching, the third best hitters park in baseball. They were talking about Ryan's pitch mix change, which I'm looking at his Stuff Plus numbers. And it's not like this splitter is like that much better than his curve and his changeup that he's ditched. It looks like more than anything, his slider has improved a lot this year, but it's only been a few starts. And overall, it doesn't look like a big jump in Stuff Plus. Like I think what we're seeing a lot of is just kind of some variance here with Ryan. Like he's good, but I don't think he's some big strikeout guy now. And he's facing a very low strikeout offense. So, and he's more, I mean, on top of all that, he's more expensive than all these other guys too, which just makes it an easy decision for me that like, at least as a cash play, and even in GPPs where it doesn't look like you're getting, like Ryan's going to be every bit as owned as these other guys basically, except for maybe Gore who will be a little higher. But I think you play Gore and Bradish on DraftKings. I think you play Gore on FanDuel, and even in GPPs, like I don't think you have to play Ryan outside of Gore. Every other pitcher on this slate, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. They all project within 3 points of each other. And Ryan's one of them. And he's the most expensive. Like I might actually say I would rather play literally any other pitcher on this slate in a GPP rather than Joe Ryan.
Wow. That is bold take. Okay. But noted. Cheese, I
feel like but bold. Yes.
Cheese, I feel like you gave me your general thoughts, but I didn't get all of your plays at pitcher yet.
You did.
No, I didn't. You didn't say names like Berrios or Kluber
correct.
Brito or Canning. You did not say their names.
Correct. So you did get my take. Joe Ryan, drop, Bradish, Gore, done.
Period. That's it.
I think I have one Louis Garcia lineup.
Wow. So that's really interesting because I feel like this is the kind of slate where literally every pitcher is in play except for maybe Joe Ryan. But honestly, the difference is how much I like Joe Ryan makes the others unplayable. I have 95% Joe Ryan on DK. I checked before the show, 95%. If I was on the bats side of Joe Ryan, then I would absolutely be splitting up all these other guys because I don't want to be have a whole bunch of Gore and Bradish.
Yeah.
So really, I think the whole difference in everything with us is just the Joe Ryan take. If I wasn't playing Joe Ryan, I would be mixing in quite a bit of Garcia and Kluber for sure, and maybe even the other three guys.
Yeah, if the bet liked Joe Ryan more than these other guys and had him projected above Gore at like 19 or 20 DK points or like, 35 FanDuel points, then that's a different story. When Ryan is projecting within a point of every other pitcher on the slate, I'd rather just play every other pitcher on the slate.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, is Bradish FanDuel Cash viable, or is Gore the play on FanDuel Cash?
Gore is the play for me.
Yeah. Cheese, is it viable? I mean, how much you save in there?
I would be just as happy with Bradish as Gore. I'd actually play Bradish ahead of
Bradish is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. All right. Very good. Let's talk about some of the stacks, guys. All right. We've got, I don't know, not a whole bunch of games here. Was it 4 games?
4 games.
4 games. All right. What are we hitting? Who are we hitting? Cheese, you can lead us off.
So what's interesting is kind of like for that same reason why Carty said, if you don't like Joe Ryan, you maybe just play a little bit of every pitcher, which also means all the offenses are really very close.
Yeah.
And with the exception of the Nationals, all the offenses are pretty good. I think the Yankees are the clear top team and will be the chalk, especially with they're priced. Like, you pay up for Judge and then everyone else is free. I mean, Rizzo and Torres aren't free, but like, it's such an easy stack. I think they're the chalk and they're my favorite. On DK, the Twins are so crazy cheap. It's hard not to like them. Like Buxton and Correa, and then everyone else is just totally free. I think that the game that probably decides this is Toronto-Houston. It's 2 like totally fine pitchers, but it's Toronto and Houston, and they're not great pitchers. I lean to the Houston side for a stack and to the Toronto side just for picking out home runs, just playing a Vlad here and a Bichette there. So officially Yankees, then Houston, then the Twins. But everything is viable here.
Okay, very good. Carty, are we going so far as to stack against Ryan for a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little leverage?
Leverage.
Or no, you're getting enough off just by not playing him as much?
No, it's like Cheese said, this is similar to the pitching because the pitching is so condensed. The hitting is so condensed too. There's not a lot of difference between the teams today. The bat does think the Blue Jays are kind of in a little bit of a tier above the rest, but not by a ton. But they would be my favorite stack. And then basically every other team is similar enough that you can stack them. And the ones that are kind of towards the bottom of that pile are the ones against the good pitchers, but you're getting that leverage. So even they're in the mix. Like, you can have a stack against Joe Ryan. You can have a stack against Gore. You can have a stack against Bradish. Because what you lose in a little bit of projection, you make up for in the leverage. So literally every team is in play.
Yeah. Okay. That's
the
fair.
only thing tilting me more than Carty not liking Joe Ryan is how many times he just said the word leverage.
I can see.
I know it's Cheese's favorite, so I got to try to fit it
Yeah.
in as many times as I can,
Yeah.
especially on a
When he's-
4-game slate. We don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, if I
When
can
he said it the
Cheese a little
5th
bit,
time, it was 5 times in that one sentence, and I could see
Yeah.
you twitching a little bit at that point.
That was rough. I'm still here, but just barely.
All right, let's go position by position, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with a little catcher talk. Carty, you get to start a catcher this time because Cheese had to do it last time.
But here's the thing, Roth. This is a 4-game slate. You really want me to talk about catcher on a 4-game slate?
I mean, it's Rutschman, right?
Let Roth do catcher. He knows who he likes.
Correct. Andy Rutschman, or if you want to save money, you can punt. You can go down to him.
There's actually another play, Kev. Let's see if Kevin can figure it out. There is actually
I would guess you punt to McCann, but I don't know.
So I think Kirk is the bat thinks Kirk is actually a little better than Rutschman today. And he's significantly cheaper. So Kirk, I think, is your cash guy. Rutschman is great, though. And you get that leverage off of Mackenzie Gore. After that, they're all basically the same. But yeah, those are kind of like the two that are above the rest.
Okay, very good. I'm looking at the guy that I picked, and his projections are truly terrible. So I take back the McCann thing. Cheese, what are we doing?
He's bad. Like, everyone, it's funny. Where are all the McCann truthers right now? Like, for like a good year and a half, everyone's like, James McCann, he's so good. He's his lefty masher. And he's just been terrible since.
You're not
then.
hearing from them because none of them are still here and playing DFS.
Yeah, they're out of the game.
And they're out.
They lost all their money. All right. did Carty cheat somebody? Cheese catcher? Or somebody?
Yeah, I mean, really, Kirk and Rutschman are way ahead of the field. Mostly, you're just in a stack with everything else because Kirk is really not that much more expensive than the cheaper guys, and then everything's just kind of fine, whatever.
Yeah. All right. First base.
First base is pretty great, really, for a 4-game slate. There is like a great player or two at every position. Vlad is the guy you want at first. He's one of the main guys you want anywhere. On DK, you can do Ohtani as well as a spend up. I think Rizzo and Mountcastle on FanDuel, they're essentially the same price as Vlad. So I prefer Vlad. Even if you're doing it like a Yankee stack, play Vlad instead of Rizzo. Just get him in there. But on DK, where the pricing is more spread out, Rizzo's really likable, but probably chalky at 42. Joey Gallo's back. It's not really actually a great Joey Gallo spot. I'm just pointing out that he's back. Do with that as you will. So it's like a super good position, but there's not a lot of choice. It's basically Vlad, Rizzo, and Mountcastle with Ohtani on DK as well.
Okay, very good. Carty?
Yeah, Vlad's clearly head and shoulders above the rest. Rizzo, Mountcastle are the next tier. Jose Abreu on FanDuel is a good step below them in terms of price. And Joey Meneses. I think they're both totally fine if you need to save a little money. But the top guys are great. On DraftKings, Dom Smith is probably the cheap guy if you're doing it, or Tristan Casas in your stacks against Ryan. But it's the kind of slate where, especially in cash, and especially if you're not playing Joe Ryan, you're going to have a lot of money to spend on like every position. So you don't need to mess too much with the cheap guys. Like there's enough high-end stuff to like where you probably don't have to do that.
Okay, very good. Take me to second.
Gleyber Torres is, I think, clearly the top guy at the position here. And especially on FanDuel, I think he's fairly easy to get up to, in particular because outside of him, like there's like it's just a garbage fire. Like there's just really nothing good
Garbage
here.
fire.
There's a guy named Edouard Julien, Edouard Edouard. I don't know if he's maybe French or I don't know what. But he's 2.5K on FanDuel, and outside of Gleyber Torres, like he's probably the best second baseman on the slate. So that should tell you the state of this position here. So I think you're doing that. And on DraftKings, where Mauricio Dubon is second base, he's 3.1K. So you're fine to play him instead of Gleyber. If you
we have two cheap, potentially French people at second base, Dubon and Edouard.
Yeah, Julien.
This is actually kind of exciting.
Whew. Hey, does DJ LeMahieu suck at baseball or something? He's like
for many years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's James McCann at second base.
He's another one of those guys. Everyone was like, the first year he's with the Yankees and he hit like a few home runs. Everyone's like, oh, DJ LeMahieu's so great. He's this.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's not. He's not a power guy. He's not that good. Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right. I was unaware. All right. Cheese, catch me up.
Yeah, because it works at second base, how bad second base always is. I like the term garbage fire because really that's worse than a dumpster fire because a dumpster fire is contained to this one area.
Garbage fire can go wherever it wants.
Yeah, so I agree. But Gleyber Torres or a cheap guy, a cheap French guy, basically.
Okay, and he is he's Canadian, so he's probably like a French Canadian.
Definitely,
I would think. So there you have it. Okay, take me to third base, please.
All right, we're back to great plays. So Chapman is my favorite play. So Devers against Ryan. I have a bunch of Devers in Joe Ryan lineups. Like this is a 4-game slate where I will gladly play one bat against my pitcher, and Devers is clearly that guy. But I do like Chapman ahead of him. But those two, and then Bregman is more in Astro stacks for me. And then on DK, Jose Miranda is just too cheap. And he makes a lot of things work. So that's kind of my primary group: Devers, Chapman, Miranda, the little Bregman and stacks.
Okay, very good. Carty?
Yeah, on FanDuel, the cheap guy's probably Oswaldo Cabrera for the Yankees, but it's really that high end. Like Devers is the guy. I'd throw Anthony Rendon into that mix. He's probably like the best mid-tier guy on DraftKings. On FanDuel, you probably prefer Bregman at that price point, but I don't mind Rendon in your Angel stacks or on DraftKings as kind of a way to save without going all the way down.
Okay. Getting Eddie in the chat says, just so you know, Mauricio Dubon is from Honduras, but like that is a French last. That is the most French last name. He's got the accent aigu.
I mean, French people are allowed in Honduras now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing that doesn't change anything.
It sounds French to me. I'm sticking with it. All right. I don't know where we are, but we're there. Someone take it from there.
We're at shortstop, I think.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette is the top overall option. He's expensive on both sites. I don't think you're playing him in cash because you have considerably cheaper guys. I'm curious. Cheese has been super anti Anthony Volpe the last couple days on a 4-game slate. I'm wondering if he's a little more willing to play him. He's 3.5 on DraftKings. He's 2.8 on FanDuel, and he projects as the second best shortstop on the slate according to the bat. So I think he's probably your cash guy on FanDuel, where Carlos Correa is like way underpriced at 2.9. He's definitely in the mix. And Mauricio Dubon, who is on FanDuel a shortstop and an outfielder, is 2.6 on FanDuel. So I think that's kind of the state of the position. On DraftKings, there's no need to go any cheaper than Volpe unless it's a guy in your stack.
Okay. Cheese, you like us a little Volpe? Cute little Volpe?
So, you know, what's really funny is like one day of something and like that becomes like your thing. I've been like higher on Volpe than almost anyone except for yesterday.
Listen, Cheese, I need to make fun of someone else for hitting a prospect because it's always me. Give this to me. Give this.
Like I've been on Volpe all year other than yesterday. I think he's a great play today. Like he matches up to me very well against Canning. That's a guy that I like playing him against. But if I can afford Bo Bichette, that's what I want to do. So give me Bichette, a little Correa, Pena, and Astro stacks. But I'm very happy with Volpe as a cheap play.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Volpe.
That's the best thing that's ever happened.
How did that happen so quickly? That was amazing.
It's possible that Steve needs another hobby. I'm not totally sure, but that was fantastic.
That was the highlight of my day. And I don't, that's sad, but it's true. Cheese, take me to the outfield.
All right. The high end of the outfield is truly glorious. That's part of the reason I do like Volpe and why I like Julian at second. Judge, Alvarez, Ohtani, Tucker, Springer, Trout, Buxton. Just crazy love every single one of those guys. I go Judge, Alvarez, and then I guess a little drop to Ohtani, Trout, Springer, but all those guys are just amazing, fantastic. I love them all. Any lineup where it's possible to play 3 of them, I'm doing it, but it's most of the time it's not really quite that possible on DK. It's if you're not doing Judge or Alvarez, you can get the other guys on FanDuel. Like Buxton's only 3,300, and Ohtani's only 37. So if you start with those 2, you can do it. On DK, you also usually need a cheap guy. We do have mid-tier, like Farshow and Kepler are interesting-ish mid-tier. My favorite dirt cheap guy is Willie Calhoun. Like he's minimum salary. Really, any of the cheap Yankees are fine. Michael Taylor's fine. Jake Myers is fine. Like these guys are all just completely free. So in most lineups, I have 2 expensive guys and 1 cheap guy.
Okay, very good. Carty?
I'm completely with Cheese on the high end. I think in cash, you're getting 2 of these guys, and then you're going to have to save a little bit. But the high end is really good with Judge and Alvarez kind of in a tier above the rest. And then in terms of like stuff you're using to fill in around it, some of the same guys, like the Minnesota guys, I like Kepler in particular, and especially on FanDuel, Kepler at 2.3 is fantastic. Varsho is really good. Raimel Tapia is a guy that I like that Cheese probably doesn't because he's in love with Joe Ryan, but I don't think Ryan's in a great spot today. Tapia is super cheap, especially on draft. Actually, I guess especially on both, but DraftKings he's 2.2, FanDuel he's 2.2. He's sitting second. So Tapia is a really good play. I think in the same lineup, Verdugo in your Boston stacks is going to be good. And yeah, that's kind of the position. I guess Jaron Duran too is fine as a cheap guy, as well. But I think I prefer Tapia in that lineup.
Okay, very
I
good.
might play Tapia against Brad Keller if that were an option.
Okay, hey, let's take some QQs. I mean, did Steve really? Someone made an offhand comment, like, was that yesterday, that Volpe just sounded like a Pokemon?
Yeah.
Well, there's
And
a
there it
Pokemon
is.
named Vulpix, so it's very similar.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I was unaware of that.
Wait, what? Why do you know that?
Because I played Pokemon as a kid. Cheese.
That's
Like,
fantastic.
I played Pokemon as a kid too, but that's a random pull.
Yeah, I'm
Was
a
it
little too
Vulpix?
old to have played that as a kid.
There were
so-
only 150 of them in the original game. I don't know all the sequel games and whatnot, but 150 is not.
Could you name all 150 right now if we had time?
If we had time, probably. It might take me some time. Like, I would recognize every name, but to come up with all of them off the top of my head, it would take a little time, but I could do it.
That
I
is
couldn't
glorious.
get more than 15. Okay. Anyways, that was amazing. Good job. We've got about 6 minutes until lock. Let's get a home run pick, and then let's get some QQs.
Let's do.
Let's see. Yes, it's Cheese's favorite part of the show. Cheese, pick someone who is going to go yard. Did my guy go yard? I forget who did I pick.
Oh, you tell us.
It was in St.
Yeah.
Louis. It was in St. Louis.
It was Arenado, wasn't it?
It was Arenado. Did he go yard?
I think everyone went yard against Bumgarner today.
I know he
so-
hit a double. I don't remember this. I think he may have just doubled. I don't. Somebody can tell us.
I let the people down. All right, Cheese. I've bought you some time. Give me a home run pick.
I mean, there's so many obvious. Like all of those big outfielders are like obvious. I'll say Aaron Judge for the very obvious one, and then Vlad Guerrero for the pretty darn obvious one. Sneaky-ish. Actually, not even ish. Just flat out sneaky Stone Garrett.
Okay, very good. By the way, if we don't end the show with the Volpe thing, I'm going to be upset. So you can literally cut us off to play that anytime you want for the remainder of the season. Carty, home run picks.
I mean, like the guys who have the best chance of hitting a home run are going to be the obvious guys, like Yordan Alvarez, Vlad Guerrero, Aaron Judge. They're your top guys that are definitely the safe picks. I guess if you're looking for something a little more, I don't know, off the radar or whatever, maybe like Varsho or Mountcastle or Kirk or someone like that.
Okay. All right, let's take some QQs.
One time as a kid, I got a rare Charizard Pokemon card, and I sold it for $75 because I was a kid and that was a lot of money and I wanted to buy stocks, as kids do. I think that card is worth like thousands now. Okay, how much is a
What stock did you buy?
first edition Charizard holographic card worth right now?
Yeah, like 20 grand. Did you buy Apple stock? It could still turn out okay. It just
Did
depends
not
what you
buy
got.
Apple stock.
Ugh, that hurts. All right, let's take some QQs. We've got less than 5 minutes until lock here.
That's disappointing. That makes me sad.
Yeah. Tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So more than $75 is what you're saying.
Yeah, this is poor. It was a poor investment. Do we have any questions that don't involve Pokemon? I don't.
There's not really much to ask on a 4-game slate.
Yeah. Show it again.
Yeah,
Sure.
and everyone's making sure that we know that Arenado did not actually get a hit.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
Volpe.
It's so good,
So
man.
good.
Oh, whew, that's good. All right. Sorry, Cheese. You were cut off by Who's That Pokemon. It was worth it, but did he not get a hit? Arenado didn't get a hit?
No, it was Contreras that got the double that I was thinking of.
Here's the
Arenado.
thing, believe it or not, people don't know this, and I definitely don't hold it against you, Roth, but Arenado's not that good. He's just not. Sorry, guys.
He was in Colorado his whole life, so everyone thought he was good, right? Is that
Yeah.
what happened there?
He's really not that good.
Yeah, he's not my boy. Like, it's
I mean,
fine.
he's
Here we
certainly
go.
no Matt Carpenter. Oh my God. Are
He's-
you for real? Right?
he's-
That's the card I have.
Now, Carty.
Yeah.
Okay. Just read for us his stats from 2022 as a St. Louis Cardinal, please. Just read them for us.
Fire spin plus 100.
Okay, 293, 30 homers, 100 RBIs. That is not bad. What are you talking about?
He's not good.
What are you talking about?
He's
He has
not good.
back-to-back years in St. Louis with 30 homers and 100 RBIs, and he still hits for average. What are you talking about?
He's not good.
What are you talking
that's pretty
about?
good.
Based on what? The numbers are good.
He had a 346 WOBA last year. That's like above average. His ex-WOBA was 318.
So you care about ex-WOBA?
Not really,
No.
but like also all of his StatCast stuff is terrible. Like he's just doing this based on name value and a little bit of good luck at this point. I'm convinced.
You don't
30
hit 30 home
homers
runs
every
based on
year
value.
is just name value? He gets home runs for his name value?
Producer Steve, hey, what's up, man?
Well, I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
he had home runs, but like in terms of just like his actual hitting ability, over the last 4 years, his WOBA is like 330 or something. Like it's not like he's above average.
His WOBA was 381 last year. What are you talking
Yeah, and the
about?
2 years before was 336 and 308, and last year was 346. He had one like borderline great year of the last 4, and the rest were like or terrible.
Okay, Carty.
I just had to laugh at that because Cheese asked about Arenado's stats and Carty read fire spin from Charlie.
That's pretty wonderful.
That was
pretty good.
amazing.
Pretty good, guys.
Only
okay.
we could all be horrible enough to hit 30 homers with 100 RBIs every year.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan
Okay.
Arenado is bad enough to have sold a Charizard card as a kid. That's how bad he is.
Oy. All right,
No
guys.
idea
We got.
what that
Let's
word
see.
is.
We got a few more questions. Gregoria says, "What is Pokemon?" We know you're trolling. Everyone knows what Pokemon is. Get out of here. FanDuel single entry: Burrito a pitcher and get all the bats, or just play Ryan with some value. I'm going to ask Cheese.
I mean, it's fine if you don't want to play Ryan, but like those are not your two choices, Ryan or Burrito. I can't get behind Burrito personally on FanDuel.
Carty? Burrito?
I don't hate it because like all these pitchers are pretty similar. And if you're just going to play one that isn't one of these like 3 chalk guys, play the cheapest one. I'm fine with that because they're all basically the same.
Okay. Hoosiers Hang Banner says, I've got probably 30 Christian Leitner rookie cards. Does anybody care about cards that aren't Pokemon cards? I don't know. I don't know if they have any value. Like sports
If they
cards.
do, it would be Christian Leitner cards.
Yeah. Scorekeeper says, hey, my DKGVP has $1,000 left on the table, and I love it. Baltimore stack going to win it all tonight. Your thoughts?
There's plenty of ways to leave salary on the table. Yeah, it's
On
a
this
4-game slate. Leaving salary, sure.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to get out of here. We're like roughly 10 seconds from lock, I do believe. Excellent work. It was good content and good bickering. It was good bickering. Good job, gentlemen. We're going to get on out of here. So it's backwards. The way I point is backwards of the way you guys show up on my screen. So for Cheese, for Carty, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, hit that thumbs up on your way out. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.